What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JellyGoonTv. Welcome back to my beautiful viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we have another video, another reaction. But before we get to that, I want to say there's a Reddit down below. There's also a Discord down below where you could go join and you can hang out. You could throw up memes. You could throw up everything. Update on videos comes over there. So it's a good thing to be a member of course. But yeah. Anyway, today we have another video that we're going to react to. And this one is, what if Hitler had won? So it goes out of the perspective of World War II, of course. What if Hitler won instead of the Russians, instead of the Americans, of course? This is going to be interesting because I really want to see what they speculate on. You can't really know anything that hasn't really happened, so you can only think about it, but it's probably going to be very horrible. But without further ado, let's get into this video and see what Hitler's up to if he won. Let's go.
World War II, the largest and most costly war in all of human history, is still within living memory of some of us around the world, and the fallout of this massive conflict is still visible 70 years after the event. The aftermath of the war gave rise to a massive displacement and migration of citizens in Europe. In a modern world where it's difficult to establish just who are the good guys and who are the bad guys, the Second World War leaves little in the way of ambiguity. A madman set to take over the world had to be stopped by a morally responsible world stage. Fortunately, Germany was stopped. But in today's episode of the Infographic Show, we ask, what if Hitler had won World War II? This must be one of the biggest what-ifs in history, and had Germany not made the double error of first invading the Soviet Union and then declaring war on the USA, we might have been living in a world where the Nazis had been the victors. The citizens of the Soviet Union were the ones who paid the dearest for the Allied victory, and if it were not for their determination and resistance, we may well be speaking German and chomping on bratwurst.
That is 100% true.
But for this to have happened, we need to factor in a number of variables and reverse engineer a scenario that gives Hitler and Germany a good fighting chance of winning the war. For Hitler to have declared victory, he would have had to have gained a lot more land than he had. The likelihood of Great Britain and the United States ceding their territory is very slim. Yet it is possible that some kind of ceasefire would have occurred whereby Germany would have temporary control over the Allied nations. Hitler was, by some accounts, terrified of the United States becoming part of the Allied forces, having, as they did, large resources and being as far away as they were. Capturing land across the oceans would have been unlikely. Instead, the USA would have had to agree to become passive in the conflict, leaving Germany to have its way with Europe. It would have had to have made economic sense for the USA to continue to do deals with a German-led Europe rather than the individual countries.
Wow.
Germany would keep the countries it conquered, including France and Poland, and Italy would continue to be a German ally. Spain and Portugal would find themselves aligned with Germany, and Switzerland would remain neutral. For Germany to have won the Second World War, they would have had to have given up their ambitions to take the Soviet Union. However, Stalin was not going to stay quiet, so some kind of peace deal would have had to be brokered between the Soviets and Germany if Hitler were to win the war. Likewise, Germany would have had to have abandoned its plans to take Japan, and being so far away, there would be no real reason to pursue the East once they'd taken the lion's share of Europe. In short, a lot of the bigger players on the world stage would have had a reason to let Germany carry on with its ambitions. This lack of interference would itself be morally wrong, considering the Nazis' attempt to exterminate entire sections of the population, such as Jews and other so-called undesirables like gay people, the mentally ill, Romani, etc. So if the Germans had won the Second World War and were allowed to continue their ethnic cleansing, we would now be living in a world where inside the Greater German Reich, these people would have been eliminated. American science fiction writer Philip K. Dick in 1962 wrote one of the first alternate history novels to look at what would happen. In his book, Nazi Germany, Italy, and Japan have won the war, and the world is divided between them in blocks. The Empire of Japan includes all of Greater East Asia, with the United States divided between the Japanese puppet Pacific States of America and the Rocky Mountain States, a Nazi puppet state of the USA. Canada avoids occupation in this scenario, despite being part of the British Empire and being at war with the Nazis from the start. With the USA having obtained nuclear capability by 1945, Nazi Germany would have been desperate to find their own weapons of mass destruction. Nazism may have been discovered by its own people to be inherently evil and be overthrown from within. The truth is, we will never know just how the world would have panned out, as there are simply too many variables to take into consideration. It is safe to say that the victory would probably be short-lived, as the Allies decided once again that the right thing to do would have been to remove Hitler from the world stage once and for all. So, what do you think would have happened if Hitler and Germany won the Second World War? Let us know in the comments. Also, be sure to watch our other video called The Top 10 Dumbest Reasons People Were Arrested and Thrown in Jail.
Let me pause here, man. Let me pause here. So, what do I think would happen if Hitler and Germany won the Second War? Now, what I think is that Hitler would come to an end, of course, as every empire in the world, like Alexander the Great, like Caesar, like everybody, right? So what I think he would do is integrate German culture inside of every single country. That means the construct of like a Roman statue shit, like, you know, make sure that Germany is established in other countries and not left alone. So what I think is that many people will to speak German, many people will to, you know, have the language of the German, but as he said in this video, I think Hitler will surpass somebody who doesn't like him and trying to take him out, because they already trying to assassinate him. It didn't go great, but I really do believe that Hitler is not gonna live, and nobody really thinks like, oh, this guy is just gassing a whole fucking race, like, what is going on? So I think people is gonna come to their senses no matter what. But if the Soviets, if Germany concentrated on Soviet Union, they could definitely win. They could definitely win back then, of course. It would be a devastating thing, man. It would be a very devastating thing. But thank God they didn't do it. But that's what I think, that German culture will be integrated in everything, and there will be a lot of history about German, and of course eradication of like the Jews and everything like that, because they gas chamber all these things that they do towards people, and it's just cruel, man. It's horrible. Rest in peace to everybody. But yeah, that's basically what I think. Comment down below what you think. What you think have happened if Hitler and Germany won over the world? So yeah, without further ado, please hit the like button down below. It would be massively appreciated if you like this video, of course. And if you really want to support this channel, please do subscribe and hit that notification button so you get updated on the newest videos to come to this channel. But yeah, anyway, guys and girls, I'm gonna move on into the next one. Peace.